These California sea lions are having a blast playing in the surge. They burn up a lot of energy, but that's not a problem. Just around the corner is the kelp forest, and it's filled with tasty fish. So for the sea lions, it's like one big supermarket. But the kelp forest is not only important to sea lions. In fact, the kelp forest is an entire ecosystem built around a single underwater tree. Kelp are giant algae. Many different species of kelp live in cold waters around the world. But the big forests are here off the coast of California, where the water is full of nutrients and there's plenty of sunlight. Here, the kelp grow from the sea floor right up to the surface. That can be 100 feet. They grow fast, too, sometimes as much as a foot a day. It's not exactly calm down here. There are strong currents and wave action creates a powerful surge that could easily rip most plants from the sea floor. But not the giant kelp. They grab onto the bottom using a special adaptation called a holdfast. Now they can sit back and enjoy the ride. The water motion caused by the surge and currents is like a constant undersea wind. On land, forests of trees provide animals with protection from wind and other elements. Likewise, down here, sea creatures can find a bit of protection within the undersea forests of kelp. It may make the water rough, but the currents are also vitally important. They sweep lots of tiny creatures that scientists call plankton into the kelp forest. And plankton is food for many of the creatures who live here, like the sea fan, who waits lazily around for the plankton to float into its stinging tentacles. But not all plankton are tiny, defenseless morsels of food. The jellyfish drifts at the whim of the current, and that makes it a form of plankton. But it's also a predator on the hunt for food, and if it drifts into the kelp forest, chances are it too will find a tasty treat. Sea urchins aren't satisfied with plankton. They eat algae and even kelp itself. Sometimes, due to an ecological imbalance, sea urchin populations explode. When this happens, these little urchins act like clear-cut loggers and have been known to mow down entire kelp forests. But most of the time, if the kelp gets enough sunlight, it can grow fast enough to keep ahead of the hungry urchins. The kelp leaves or fronds collect solar energy, and they're also home to animals. These white spots aren't freckles, they're actually colonies of tiny predators called moss animals. Using tentacles invisible to the human eye, they catch bits of plankton. The kelpfish lives here too. It hides among the fronds using leafy camouflage and eats tiny snails. Down below, the bat ray feeds on clams and crabs hiding in the sediments on the forest floor. And of course, the sea lions come for the fish. Perhaps this bright yellow Garibaldi might be a yummy snack. So lots of sea creatures rely on the kelp forest for a good meal. Surprisingly enough, so do we humans. And not just for the fish of the day. We get ice cream and cake and puddings. Kelp helps make sauces creamy, pastries fluffy, and puddings firm. Kelp helps make almost every meal turn out just the way we like it. And afterwards, we can brush our teeth with it. That's right, kelp is an ingredient in some kinds of toothpaste too. So let's see that big kelp smile.